horror films have really taken its toll on our human minds. We like being scared. Let's be real. We like being scared. In my experience of watching horror films, there is nothing like movies that have to deal with demonic possession. Those are the creepiest ones ever. Okay? Ever. So what I've decided to do was give you the top five horror movies that have to do with demonic possession. Why not 10? Because I felt like doing 5, alright? Actually, I actually thought 10 was stretching it a little bit anyway. So, I figured maybe 5 would do. Number 5, Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn. That movie was crazy. First of all, it was supposed to be a sequel to the original Evil Dead, but it seems like its own film. Like, you don't even need to see Evil Dead 1 in order to watch and appreciate Evil Dead 2. I've seen both, and I like Evil Dead 2 better because it was, well, first of all, aside from it trying to be scary, it was actually funny. It was more comedic. You have Bruce Campbell stuck in the cabin. His girlfriend becomes possessed. He has to kill her because apparently there's no other way to do it, right? It's a chant from the Book of the Dead that they chanted that the original professor or whatever on that tape recording chants it, unleashes this evil in the woods that possesses anything and everybody. I love the part when when the demonic spirit's trying to get Bruce Campbell and he's chasing him into the... He crashes through a wall. I swear, it's like a cartoon. I'm telling you, it's crazy. That's why I found it funny, And I guess in a movie like that, that's supposed to be scary, I think funny helps a little bit, deal with the situation. And of course, this is where we see Bruce Campbell with the famous chainsaw that he uses to kill the evil dead. Number 4. The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Now, what's interesting about that film is that it comes across more to me as a drama than it does a horror film, but it does have its scary moments. I'm just telling you, it did have its scary moments. It made me jump back a few times. The film is actually based on true events of a girl named Analisse Michel back in the mid-70s, coming out of, I believe, Germany, where she died during the process of exorcism, and the priest and the family were charged with neglect. Pardon the pun, but the jury is still out there about whether or not the girl was actually possessed. There are actual recordings, audio recordings of the priest speaking to the possessed of, a girl, Analisse Michel. This is the story that inspired the movie, The Exorcism of Emily Rose. I'll put the link below so you can take a listen for yourself. Gives you chills up your spine. My opinion, I think she might have actually been possessed. But it wasn't just a story of a girl being possessed. It was a story about, the priest that had to go through the trial and being jailed and what would happen. It was more than just a scary movie. It was a movie about faith. It was a movie about drama. And it was a movie about how one girl's distress became other people's hope in a higher intelligence, a higher being, God in this case, to deliver us from evil. Okay, number 3, The Rite. Also based on true events, apparently. The Rite has Anthony Perkins as a priest based in Italy, by Rome, because there's been this increase. And this is actually true, believe it or not. There's a actual college course on how to perform an exorcism for priests to attend, Catholic priests to attend, in the Vatican. I'm telling you, that it's real, it's true. That is true. And this is based on the story of one particular young priest who was sent by his archdiocese to Rome to take this course, where he was taken under the tutelage of this older priest who's been in the job for quite a while. As a matter of fact, if I'm correct, this priest just passed away recently in real life. I believe his name was Gabriel Amaranth, or I could be saying his name wrong. I'm terrible with names. I'm telling you, I'm terrible with names. And, he showed him basically the ins and outs of exorcism. This movie, of course, it's Hollywoodized, so there's a lot of things that happen in the movie that didn't really happen in real life. I actually read the book, The Rite, that the movie is based on. And I left the theater like most of that wasn't even in the book. Which is fine, I would expect something like that because, to appeal to the viewer of the movie. They just change things around. It's what they call show business. The Rite was definitely a movie about faith. Definitely a movie about demonic possession. It was creepy. It was creepy. It had its creepy moments, but the plot was solid. The acting was impeccable. And I really liked it. Like, it's definitely worth a keep. Number 2, The Conjuring. James Wan, the director of The Conjuring, really knows how to put the freaking scare in people. That movie creeped me out. I left the theater like, okay, I'm leaving the lights on in my house tonight. Screw the Con Ed bill. Again, The Conjuring is based on alleged true events that have to do with a family being haunted by a malevolent spirit in, I believe, Connecticut. And, events that have happened in that house that have transpired was documented by eyewitness accounts, as well as the famous psychic researchers Ed and Lorraine Warren, who are most famous for their investigation into the Amityville Horror House back in the mid-'70s. Ed had, at this point now, passed on, God rest his soul, but Lorraine continues to be an advisor to good old James Wan and these films. These films are like, he seems to have such a great fascination about them. And what happens in the movie is that the mother becomes, who's, I believe, played by Lily Taylor, she becomes the target of a demonic presence in The Conjuring. And she becomes possessed. And then, it's up to Ed and Lorraine Warren to expel the demon from her at the very threat of their own lives and the lives of their family. There was a foreboding horror. It was scary. We didn't know where it came, when the demon would show up. And the kids. Oh, God. It always comes back to the kids. I hate that. I hate it when kids are involved. It just makes the horror movie more horrible. Okay, guys. I've saved the best for last. The greatest horror film. This was the one that put it all on the map. It set the standard for every other demonic possession movie that has ever released or come out. And I am talking about The Exorcist, directed by William Friedkin and released in 1973, based on the book by William Peter Blatty. Again, this was based on true events that took place in, I believe, 1949 in Maryland, to a boy pseudo-named Tommy, I believe it was. Again, I suck at names. Who was apparently possessed by a demon after he was messing with the Ouija board. Stay away from the Ouija boards. Stay away from that. Parker Brothers, you people suck. Get back to checkers or something. Of course, in The Exorcist, it's not a boy, it's a girl, played by Linda Blair. And she plays a little girl named Reagan, 12-year-old girl, who messes with the Ouija board, calls him Captain Howdy and everything. And Mom is like, oh, it's a harmless little thing and everything. Meanwhile, you got Father Marin, right? Played by Max von Sydow. And he's out there in Iraq digging tombs. And apparently he's had experience with this particular demon before in the past. It is clear in the beginning of the movie that when he sees a statue of Pazuzu, is the name of the demon, Pazuzu. The name itself is like weird. As a matter of fact, you want to know something crazy? That's an actual name of a Babylonian demon god from Mesopotamia. So this thing was really pulled out of real things, man. It's crazy how they did that. I actually saw a little statue of it at the Met, okay? It was like, whoa! Father Marin, old, and apparently dying because he's under some serious heavy medication, knows he has to confront this demon again just one more time in a final epic battle between good and evil. Now, mind you, I first saw that movie when I was 12 years old, when they first released it on TV. I believe it was on Channel 2. It was on a Saturday night. That was a big mistake. I wasn't ready to see what I saw. When I saw Linda Blair, her eyes roll back and all that, forget it. It was over. I couldn't see the rest of it. All I could do was hear it, because my cousin wouldn't let me change the channel. They were showing them on Channel 5 with the giant ants. That was more my thing when I was 12. They didn't let me have it. I stayed in the kitchen the whole time, and all I could do is hear the sounds and the growling and the and oh God, it was horrible. It was horrible. And my cousin kept describing it. Eee, she turned her head around. That didn't help me. I could not sleep a wink that night. I stayed up all night in bed, I was a mess. A few years later, I rented the movie, sat down and watched it. I saw it in broad daylight by the window. And, I said, wow, that movie was good. Because it wasn't just one of the greatest horror films, in my opinion, one of the greatest horror films ever made. But it also had to do with another issue regarding faith, doubt. The movie is not just horror. The movie is psychological. It is a bending of the wills and the minds of those involved in this struggle against this evil being that has taken possession of this innocent little girl. Excuse me. I need some coffee. That's why I'm hiccuping. And you see the struggle that Father Damien Karras in the movie, the younger priest, plays. And he struggles with his faith, and he struggles with the relationship with his mom and everything. You don't see Father Marin until towards the end, when they actually set up the exorcism to be officially performed. For those of you who don't know, you can't just perform an exorcism on the whim. A priest has to get permission by the local bishop to perform an exorcism based on the right evidence. That's exactly how it happened in the case of Robbie. I'm sorry, the kid's name was Robbie. I remember now. Yeah, in the 1949 case, and in the Analisse Mitchell case, there also had to be permission granted to perform an exorcism. Call it holy red tape, I don't know. Well, there you have it, guys. My top five demon possession movies, best demon possession movies of all time. What are yours? Talk to me. Put the comments below and get back to me and let me know here on Strange Planet on what you think about demon possession movies and what all of that has to do. Does it keep you up at night? Does it keep your lights on? Or are you strong and say, you know what, screw that? Until next time, guys, this is Ralph Perez from Strange Planet signing off. Take care.